Have you ever seen a movie that you want to like so bad and you're trying your damnedest to like it, but every scene makes you hate it more and more as the film goes on? Yeah, that's this movie. The End of Oak Street. When I saw that this movie was starring Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway, I knew I had to see it. I'm not the biggest dinosaur movie fan, okay? I've seen Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World movies, sure, but I think the oversaturation has led to dinosaur fatigue. I don't think that another dinosaur movie was warranted, but nonetheless, here we are. The End of Oak Street is a dinosaur movie. So honestly, if I didn't have this channel, in all honesty, I probably wouldn't have seen this movie. I knew I had to get a review out for all of you, so I went and I saw it. But I probably wouldn't have seen this movie otherwise. I guess I should hit you guys with a plot synopsis. The End of Oak Street. After a mysterious cosmic event rips Oak Street from the suburbs and transports their neighborhood to some place unknown, the Platt family soon discovers that their very survival depends on them sticking together as they navigate their now unrecognizable surroundings. Okay, so that is a very general plot synopsis. Basically, Oak Street is transported to the dinosaur times, okay, and the Platt family, which is Denise and Greg and their two kids, who is played by Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, are forced to survive dinosaurs, basically. That's basically what this whole entire movie is. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm so mixed about this movie. I want to like it, but it has so much working against it. It seems like this movie is trying to capture the early 80s Spielberg aesthetic. There is so many moments of this movie where it does reach those levels of vibes. But then there's other moments where they're trying to be funny, or there's an action scene that doesn't quite land, and then the movie takes, a dip down in its quality. Not to mention there's so many split diopter shots. I think that's what they're called. We saw a lot of these types of shots in Lee Cronin's The Mummy. It's when the subject in the foreground is super big and in focus, but the background is also super big and in focus, so the depth of field is, it's shrunk and kind of stack the subjects right on top of each other. Yeah, that shot is way overused, okay? But nonetheless, the cinematography in this movie is good. The way that the dinosaurs are shot, I really was intrigued by and I really liked. I like how at the beginning, when we are transported back in time, we don't really see the dinosaurs that much. It isn't until a couple scenes where you finally see an actual dinosaur. But the way that this director chooses to lead up and build the suspense, you see like the tail of a dinosaur. You see a reflection of a dinosaur way out in the distance, is really well done. And it really shows that this director is a horror director. I didn't realize that the director of The End of Oak Street is actually the director of It Follows. I had no idea that this was the same dude. But it really shows in his movie that he has horror tendencies. There's numerous scenes in this movie where there is jump scare after jump scare. And they all land, okay? Everybody in my theater was jumping, especially the person next to me. Dinosaurs are scary, as they should be, in a movie like this. Okay, this movie, it teeters on its PG-13 rating. I honestly thought that this was an R rating after seeing the amount of gore that is in this movie. I did not expect there to be any gore. I thought that this was going to be like a family-friendly movie and, we'd have cutaway shots if dinosaurs eat people, but no, there is kill scenes that are shown in full, okay? People are torn up, they're ripped to shreds, and you get to see all of it. So if you're into that kind of a thing, if you like horror, you're probably going to like this movie. But then that leads me to the negatives. There's characters in the movie that are they're not necessary, I'll just say that. There's one character in particular, I won't name any names, this is non-spoiler review, but she shows herself about halfway through the movie, I want to say, and she's introduced in the beginning, but she could have been completely plucked from this movie and you'd have the same exact movie. You know, she's just kind of there. I guess she kind of helps show the humility and the likability of the Platt family, but yeah, like I said, she could be plucked from the movie and the movie wouldn't change. So why is she in the movie? She's kind of, you know, she's a person in the movie, a character in the movie that attributed to the number of times where I was sitting there groaning. I would look to my friend and we would just roll our eyes and groan because of these certain scenes that would happen in this movie. But then there's this awesome dinosaur chase scene or this great character moment, and you just love this movie and you're enthralled and you're into the thick of the plot. I think the characters really drive this story forward. If it wasn't for the great performances by Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway, I don't think that this movie would have landed nearly as good as it did. Anne Hathaway steals the show in this movie. She is going for an Oscar this year. I mean, between her performance in The Odyssey and her performance in this, she's killing it. There's so many raw, emotional scenes where she brings it and you really feel her energy and you feel her sadness or her anxiety. And yeah, she sells the story with her acting. So, all ups for her, all ups for Ewan McGregor. They both did a great job. I think the flaws of this movie fall on the writing and the way that some things are portrayed. Like, why do we need to see dinosaurs having sex? And why do we need to see dinosaurs shitting? It just seems gratuitous. It really, really does. The amount of shit that's in this movie and the one scene where you get to see dinosaurs having sex, it's just so gratuitous. I mean, it's funny, sure, but only for a second. And then we linger on that shot for way, way, way too long. So yeah, it's just like, really, dude? And you just sit there and you're groaning and you're like, I want to like you, but you're doing so much stuff for me not to like you. I don't know. That's just my opinion, of course. You have to check out the movie and see what you think of it. If I were to rate The End of Oak Street on my scale of 5 stars, I'd have to give this movie a 2.5 stars. I was entertained, but I don't know if I'd watch it again. Okay, that's my review of The End of Oak Street. What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. This was a fun movie. It definitely captured the early 80s aesthetic well. It definitely reached this Spielberg-esque level of suburban adventure movie, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it was a good time. I don't regret seeing it, but there's some things that I think should have been trimmed and or just left out completely. But yeah, that's gonna do it. That leaves one thing left to say. Are you not entertained?